The last time I spoke to you, I told you that as far as I was concerned, there was just two parties I could support in the upcoming elections, with a clear conscience, that is. I also told you why I thought so. Just as a reminder, the two parties I was talking about are OHM and hashtag Hope for SA. I've been thinking about my choices, and although I have not changed my mind at all, I do have some concerns that I think are worth discussing here. All my life, if I've battled to understand anything, I've found that the best way to grasp something is to exaggerate it to such an extent that the explanation stands out like a sore thumb. But before I get into that, I would like to ask a question. Since I consider it absolutely vital that we all vote, I also realize that the chances of either of these parties actually getting enough support to have any meaningful chance of effecting any change is minuscule to non-existent. I still feel it is important for us to vote with our conscience and not for the lesser of the evils out there. Even though this may be, it is still very important to vote, because the more of us that don't vote, the bigger percentage of the smaller pie parties like the ANC, DA, EFF and other popular parties will get. It's a very simple concept to grasp once you think about it. For those of you that don't or won't vote, I wish you would reconsider. Whoever you vote for might not have a chance of winning the election, but your vote can and will ensure that the popular parties, the parties we want gone, will get a smaller piece of the larger pie, so to speak. So please, go and vote if you are able to. To those that use the excuse that the mess this country finds itself in today is the fault of the people that voted yes in the 1992 referendum, I have this to say. Your excuse is just that, an excuse for laziness. If you are one of those people, I am speaking directly to you now. If you had such clear insight as to what was going to happen after a yes vote, what have you done in the last 30 years to correct this terrible situation? I mean, you are the ones who knew for the longest period of time what would happen. What have you done to prevent it in the last 30 years? Let me answer that. You have done absolutely nothing. What you have done is grow old and miserable with the excuse that it is someone else's fault. You have built your walls higher, extended your indoor braai, bought yourself a bigger flat-screen TV and live your life in near total isolation. You entertain yourself with sport on the TV with a brandy and coke in your hand, and not giving a damn about your neighbor, not giving a damn about anything that is happening in the world, never mind what is happening in your own country. As Colleen Serfontein said, you are directly responsible for strengthening the power that the ANC has had over the last 30 years. I think the next person that tells me they refuse to vote will get sworn at in person or in the comments. Okay, let me get to the real reason for this recording. To understand why you should choose one of these two parties, I would like to exaggerate the situation to make your decision an easier one. To do that, I would like to create the following hypothetical situation. Let's assume that the OHM and the hashtag Hope for SA parties were the biggest parties in the country today, or the most popular, and your vote would decide which one of them was going to walk away as the winners of this election. Your single vote will decide which of these two parties will be the new governing party. Now let us take a closer look at the two parties again. Firstly, Hope for SA wants to govern this country. They are taking part in the election because they would like you to give them a chance to govern. As we already know, Hope for SA is associated with personalities like Angus Buchan and Roy Strauss, amongst others. It should be known that there is a fair amount of controversy surrounding these characters, and I am not sure I want them deciding for me what is best for me, but that is just me. Your opinion might vary. If you are a very religious person, you might find Hope for SA to be a natural choice, since they say they want to govern using the Bible as their guide. I have no problem with good Christian values. As far as I'm concerned, it is just defining what a decent human being should be. My concern is that these religious fanatics might just become over-the-top religious dictators, just like so many others before them have. Having said that, I'm not trying to dissuade you from voting for them at all. I just want you to realize that we really don't know enough about them to make a fully educated decision. In my opinion, anyway. Then we get to OHM. If you vote for OHM, you are voting for a party that specifically does not want to govern this country. What they do want to do is to get rid of all political parties, including the OHM party, and give the power to you. OHM would like to give you the power to decide for yourself what is best for you. They would like you to vote directly for the candidate that you would like to serve you in Parliament, and not for you to be satisfied with whoever the winning party decides to appoint for you. In other words, we the people get to decide on what our future looks like. We get to choose who represents us, and if they don't do their job, OHM would like to give you the power to fire them and replace them with someone else more capable. On paper alone, to me, OHM looks like a party I could vote for. But here is my problem with not only them, but with all other parties. All of these parties, as far as I can tell, are going to try to keep forcing this multicultural rainbow nation on us, something that has been proven everywhere to be a hopeless failure. It is for this one single reason that even though I advise everyone to vote, I know that it is a basic impossibility for these parties, and any other parties for that matter, to be able to save South Africa from the inevitable collapse and chaos that is sure to follow. Voting in this coming election is simply an academic exercise of principle, and I intend on going to bed on the night of the 29th of May with a clear conscience, knowing that I did my part and have fulfilled my responsibility as a responsible citizen. At least I know that I haven't sold my soul for a mowed pavement and a road with a few less potholes, while I know that my child's future is being taken away by this same party. We all know who that party is, don't we? The biggest wolf in sheep's clothing amongst all of these parties. A few days ago, I was listening to an interview that Gayton McKenzie gave. I can't remember who the interviewer was, but after listening to the first 2 minutes of what Gayton had to say, where all he could talk about was how many votes he has taken from this party and how many votes he has taken from that party, etc., etc., it made me come to the realization that these parties, all of them, are literally playing a game of poker against each other, and the chips they are playing for are our lives. Yes, your and my life. Those of us that have been around for a while will remember the song by Christa Berg called Spanish Train. The song tells the story of God and the devil playing poker against each other, and the stakes were the souls of the dead. I urge you to go to the description of this recording and find the link to the song that I have left for you. This realization literally hit me like a ton of bricks. My, as well as your life, are merely chips in a poker game, and whoever wins the game takes those chips and does with them whatever they like. I can't live under these circumstances, and I'm sure it wouldn't sit very well with most, if not all of you either. We simply have no choice but to get out of this system where we are ruled, yes, we are ruled, not governed, by a bunch of criminal morons kept in power by an even bigger bunch of even bigger morons, who are by far the majority of the total population in this country. Our only hope of survival is to get away from the morons, or at least out of a situation where we are ruled or governed by morons, and without some kind of miracle, the chances of that happening are about zero. In my opinion, the only chance we have of achieving that is through secession. It is simply too late to save this country now. No political party can save this country, no matter how good their intentions are. Coulain's blown-up tank comes to mind. To think that by changing the driver, that tank will somehow start up and drive away is just foolish in my opinion. So in conclusion, if you are one of the eternally hopeful people, I say go and vote for one of the two parties that I have mentioned. If you are a realist and can see that voting at this stage is nothing but an academic exercise in futility, I would suggest the following. At least this is what I would do. Vote for the OHM party, but not for the reasons I have listed already. Should the OHM party win the election and literally put the power in your and my hands, demand that the country be split up as per the recipe currently being promoted by the UCS and the ULA, to form states and cantons where the people in those states and cantons can govern themselves. After thinking about this for the longest time, this is the only way I can justify voting at all. I hope I have given you something to think about and have made your choice of who to vote for just a little easier. Please give me a like and share this wherever you can. While you are clicking those buttons, you might as well click on the subscribe button as well as the bell icon to get notifications of new uploads. And as usual, until next time, be safe out there.